Yeah, it felt great. I didn't really know what was going to happen, and then Reese put the chain, and I didn't know how many points I needed to get to 1,000 either, so I was just kind of, in there waiting to see. I thought they were going to give the chain to somebody else, but then Reese put it around my neck, and then everyone, came around, was cheering, and I started tearing up a little bit at the end, so yeah, it just meant a lot.
You're also, I think, 9 assists away from passing Skylar Diggins for 20th most Big East play all time. Considering where, how you were recruited, your story kind of being recruited, or what's your career kind of means to you, what you've been able to accomplish as an unheralded type of recruit, I guess.
Yeah, it's meant a lot. I think I put in a lot of work to get to where I'm at, but that doesn't, take away from what my teammates and what my coaches have meant to me. But yeah, it just feels really good to, see how far I've come, I guess. And yeah, just going through a different recruiting process and how I got here, it just means a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of players you could call the glue. I mean, Jamie Horan, Kennedy Townsend, Keani Lockett, they come in every single day, to make us better. And yeah, I think that title could go to honestly anyone on the team. But yeah, that's really nice.
How do you think this breadth of experience that you and this core from the Blue Jays have will help you, in an environment like at UConn?
Yeah, we've been in a lot of big games, and I think just our experience and being in those games will help a lot. Those games get highly emotional, but I think we've done a really good job this year of responding to, big runs or being down in certain moments. So yeah, I think it'll just carry us.
What would it be like to I think guys Flan, like two birds in one stone type of thing, to put yourself in a position to maybe share the Big East tomorrow and get a what would that be like to do both of those on the same night?
Yeah, it'd be insane. Flan wore his 2016-2017 T-shirt yesterday. That's the last time that they won the Big East. So, yeah, it just mean a lot. I think it'd be really fun. Great opportunity for us. So, yeah.
You guys felt pretty good about that first matchup, other than the second quarter. What's the mindset like going into the rematch, knowing that it was kind of 10 minutes that made the difference? 7 minutes, I think, is what it was that made the difference.
Yeah, for sure. We really talked about the turnover battle and how that kind of, separated us in that first game. And, yeah, just preparing the right way and, yeah, I don't know, just getting ready to go.
How were you guys so effective against Page in that first half at senior time?
Yeah, I think we just really knew what our defensive scheme was, and everyone bought into it. And, yeah, obviously she's a really great player, so you got to know where she is at all times. But, yeah, just team defense.
Did you take anything away from what you guys got offensively, and maybe some things you guys have done before that could be cleaner or sharper in the rematch?
Yeah, definitely the turnovers. But yeah, we got a lot of really good open shots in that first game that didn't go in. So I think that gives us a little bit of confidence going into this one. But yeah, I think we're going to be fine if we just play our way.
I was curious because a lot of the chatter about UConn is this kind of UConn and the rest of the Big East and those non-con games they kind of get everywhere. Their last real tests for the tournament. He was curious about how you guys perceived that talk.
Yeah, I think we know we can compete with them. Yeah, I mean, we know what we can do going in there, and that talk is all just talk. So I think we have an opportunity to show people that we're right up there with them.
I know you guys already had a ceremonial senior day, an official one, but what's Sunday going to be like? Your last time on this floor with this group?
Yeah, it's going to mean a lot. We were just talking. The senior day, it's kind of nice because you could kind of separate, just the ceremony part, celebrating us as a senior class. But yeah, it's going to feel a little bit different playing here for the last time. So I'm excited to, see what we can do.
You think it'll feel different than the senior day? Than the official senior day?
I think a little bit, honestly, just knowing that this is going to be the last go with this group on this court and with our fans. So yeah, probably a little bit different.
Would little Molly ever believe that she's here today?
No, I don't think so. That's a tough question. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think obviously Connecticut remains the barometer for excellence in our league, and I think it's a great opportunity for our kids or our team to see where we are. And we've found ways to win, but we know that it's going to be a little more difficult in front of 15,000. In the second to the last home game for Paige and all those guys. So they're playing really well. I think they've kind of hit their stride. Easy Fudd was banged up early in the year. She seems to be finding her groove, and the freshman kid Sarah Strong played really well against us. So we got our hands full. But again, I think no better time than coming off a 7-game win streak to kind of see where we are, and I think that's a great measuring stick as we look forward to the conference tournament and then the NCAA tournament, hopefully.
You guys have come close against UConn. Their programs that's the kind of win that you put up wallpaper pictures of. What would it mean for this program to get that first one against them?
Yeah, I keep wanting to ask Kirsten what it's like to beat Nebraska in volleyball, and the good news, but it would to beat UConn would mean a lot, because I just think the level of play that they sustained really for 30 years. I mean, I think 95 was their first national championship in Minneapolis. I think I was there, but to think that they've been this good for this long is crazy, because usually you'll see. On the men's side, I mean, I don't think anybody has been as good year in, year out as they've been. But if not now, you kind of have to ask when, because we've got a group that's really old and seasoned and hopefully confident. So again, I think the big thing is to go there, compete, and give yourself a chance. And I think what you want to do is you just want to kind of play through their runs and just remain poised. I think that's what you see a lot on film is teams kind of just unwrap. There's a difference between having them go on a little bit of a run and just coming unraveled, and I think that's we have to be good at that. And I thought we were in Omaha. I mean, I told him, I said, to score 19 points in the first half, and Morgan had a 3 go in and out in the 4 minutes into the third quarter that would have cut the lead to 6. So, I mean, we were a little closer, without really putting the ball in the basket in the first half. So that's hopefully something we can build on. Yeah.
How much does that help going into this game as well?
Yeah, I think you have to be confident against them. I mean, I think, when we first got in the Big East and before we got in the Big East, just to talk to coaches who had played UConn in the old Big East, and they said it was so hard to get your kids to buy into the fact that they could beat UConn. I mean, I'm talking about in the Taurasi, Maya Moore, Breonna Stewart days, and just that belief thing is huge because they so seldomly lose. And I talked to one coach, and she said you can't find a segment of film where they look so vulnerable that your kids kind of have that buy-in, and that's probably the hardest thing, she said. So, but yeah, I do think our experience. I mean, there's nobody no team in America that's probably got more experience playing together than our team. So that's going to come into play.
How different are they from that first match? They just got Bud back, I think maybe the game before,
Yeah.
games before, and like you said, they've kind of hit their stride since then. How different are they from when you guys saw them at the end of January?
I think they're better and more confident. Yeah, I think Fudd's emergence, and she's had some big games. She's had some games where she hasn't been as big, but and then they just got Aubrey Griffin back, who is a 5'11", real versatile kid who hurt her knee against us a year ago, I think right around Christmas. So she'd been out for like 13 months. She just returned. She gives them another physical defender, rebounder, experienced player. So this is probably the deepest they've been in the last few years because they've had so many injuries. So yeah, I think they're playing at a high level. I mean, it's not that I didn't think they could beat South Carolina, but I didn't think they could beat South Carolina by 30 at South Carolina. But right before that, they lost to Tennessee probably about a week before that. So, again, but I think it goes to the idea that even South Carolina isn't immune to the runs that UConn can go on. So we just got to be steady that way. But as far as where they are right now, they went from, before that game being whatever to being the odds-on favorite, betting favorite to win the national championship in a matter of 2 hours. So I think that tells you kind of where they are.
You guys will look a little different in the first matchup too, because Keanu
Yeah.
didn't play. What does she give you that you didn't have in the first matchup?
Sure. Well, if you look at the first matchup, we had 6 points on 3 of 12 and 10 turnovers in the second quarter. So ball handling, the ability to take some pressure off Molly and Lauren as a ball handler. Some experience there. But on the other hand, you look and you say, well, we did a good job, really good job rebounding because we played bigger. So if we take better care of the ball but we don't rebound, then you're trading one thing for the other. But we did really struggle, I thought, in the second quarter to take care of the ball. I mean, you look, they're second in the country in fewest turnovers per game. We're third in the country. So in fewest turnovers per game, 10.8, 10.9. But if you look at that game, the turnovers were 18-6, and the steals were 13-1, and that was the difference. So we got to take better care of the ball, and then we got to do some of the other things that we did well. Like we did rebound well. We did. We actually, we defended well, but we've got to take better care of the ball, and Keanu certainly gives us that opportunity.
You mentioned on the defensive end, you limited Paige really well in
Yeah.
the first half before she opened it up in the third
Yeah.
quarter. How do you replicate that and try to get it, over 4 quarters?
Yeah, well, we switched a lot of screens to try to disrupt their stuff. We had a simple game plan, but we just said that, hey, they're going to score the ball. So we were really switch heavy and took away threes, honestly. I mean, they were 4 for 20 from the three, and they probably had some looks that they think they can make, but so did we. I mean, I watched the film and I'm like, man, we had some good looks in the first half that we didn't make. But yeah, I think we got to defensively. I said to our staff and our team, our game plan was good. I mean, if you take away some of the runouts they got off steals, they still only shot 40%. They lead the country in both field goal shooting, and I think they're second in effective field goal percentage. So we did enough things well there, and we'll hopefully do a lot of the same things, just do them even slightly better.
Could be a weekend of first for you. It'd be the first Big East champion.
Yeah.
Share of the Big East champion.
Well, 2016-17, we tied with DePaul. I wore the T-shirt yesterday to pulled it out of the drawer to kind of motivate them.
What would it be like to clinch a share of another Big East title and get a first win over UConn in the I know you still have to win
Right, Sunday.
But what would that be like to kind of get 2 birds with 1 stone on Thursday?
Yeah, I think special, because I think if you look, all the coaches talk about what the league was like before UConn came back in. I mean, Doug Bruno told me, the coach at DePaul, he said, I didn't even know there was a bonus for winning the Big East until UConn left the league, because we never had a chance to win. Which I thought was a great line. And, and then I kid Jalen Agnew. I said, yeah, you were Big East Player of the Year, but that was pre-UConn, So she might have won it anyway. But, there's a running joke among coaches about just because of UConn's dominance. So it would be special to be able to share or win a Big East championship, probably even more so just because of the presence of Connecticut.
I know you're probably sick of us asking you about litmus tests when it comes to this team, this program. But given the time of the year, Big East are right around the corner, that's always right around the corner. The fact that you're not catching UConn slipping,
No.
you know what's at stake, so you're going to get their best.
Yeah.
Is there more anticipation behind it now, knowing that you're going to get the best of the best to find out, truly where you are right now at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think it's a great barometer for our team. And you tell them that it's like we're gonna find out, if we're, 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 if we're if we've made progress, and where we're hopefully going to be for an NCAA tournament opportunity or run, because playing them at XL Center in front of 15,000 is going to be a monster challenge. So, and it's hard. Like I said, I think it's hard to glean too much because Kiani didn't play. They didn't have, they were still working their way back. So I mean, if you look at the game as a whole, it wasn't. I think they're probably didn't feel great about the way they played, and like I said, we missed a lot of open shots and had one quarter of just crazy turnovers. So I think both teams probably think they can play better, and hopefully we both play better, or at least we play better. But yeah, it's for sure an opportunity to kind of gauge where we are. Yeah. Yeah, I think what I told the story about Molly is like, she doesn't. You don't look at her and think she can be that good. And when she committed to us, the summer before her senior year, I had a bunch of coaches say, "Oh man, I really like that kid. I really like that kid." And I'm thinking to myself, you liked her just enough not to offer her a scholarship because she doesn't look the part, right? She doesn't look, and I just think, validation, I think that she has become as good a player as she has because, and again, I didn't necessarily know that she would be as good a player as she's been, but because she was one of those kids you had to watch over and over again because you're like, well, she's not quite quick enough and she's not quite tall enough, and she, you're looking at the things she doesn't do, and then you get to coach her and you see all the things that she does, and kind of just the glue type kid that she is, and how she, fills gaps, both emotionally and in terms of production, and so she's been a real joy to coach.
I know you guys had an official senior day, but
Yeah.
Sunday will be your, I don't know if we'll talk to you before Sunday.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah.
be your
Last one.
with that group. What is that going to be like?
Yeah, I think that I like the idea that we've already done our senior day, because I think it placed some of the emotion on that night, and then there'll be some emotion on Sunday night, but maybe it's split a little more, so maybe it won't be quite as dramatic, or maybe has a little bit less emotion attached to it. Plus, it's a late night. I'll be half asleep. The players won't be, but yeah, it's such a special group. But I do think that having had the ceremonial part of it maybe takes a little bit out of the emotional component.
Separate years for a second. We got some twins
Yeah.
playing probably their last couple high school games this week and hopefully
Yeah.
next week. Just what their high school career, how impactful have they been for that program, and how excited are you for them to do this?
Yeah, Neely and Nora are going to fit in really well. I think the more we've gotten to watch them and be around them and communicate with them, and they've been great about coming to our games, and it's fun to watch them play. I watched them about a week ago again, and just to see their dynamic is fun, because we've had sisters, but we've never had twins, and I just think it'll be fun to get to coach them. And yeah, they've really developed and evolved. I think they've put in the work, and so initially it was kind of hard to offer them both, because we're like, well, they're kind of the same player. Do we want to? And now I think I look back and know that we made the right decision, because they're both good enough to flourish, I think, at this level.